So today I'm going to show you how to make a strawberry reduction that can be used to make strawberry buttercream, specifically strawberry Swiss meringue buttercream, which I'm going to show you how to make in another video. So what you want to start with is a pound of strawberries, and we're going to take the hulls off, and these are the hulls, and you also want to take off any blemishes you might see, and you want to make sure the thicker part of the stem is removed. You don't want big chunks of hull in there because it's sort of tough. And then you're going to thinly slice your strawberries using that claw technique, cutting as consistently as you can. We don't want any green leaves in there. So I'm going to go through and chop all of these, and what I'm doing is I'm popping them in a pot here, and I'm going to put it over medium heat. And what that's going to do is slowly cook it down. I'm going to add a little sugar and water to help everything sort of break down more evenly. And we're going to reduce it. We want a strong, fresh strawberry flavor in our buttercream. We don't want it to be watery or faint. We want a nice hit of strawberry. So the more we reduce our strawberries, once they're all softened, the more strawberry flavor we're going to get in our buttercream. All right, so now that we have our strawberries all chopped up, I'm going to add, this is probably 2 tablespoons of sugar. We're going to add that in, and just like salt enhances the natural flavors, the sugar is also going to do that. And what else is going to help enhance the flavor here is a little acid. And so we're going to use a little bit of lemon. I'm just going to squeeze some in here. This is a lemon I already have cut up from something else I did. We're just going to squeeze a little bit of lemon juice in there, and that's going to help brighten the flavor of our strawberries, just the same way salt enhances the flavor of other things like vegetables. Acid typically enhances the flavor of fruit. So we're going to put this over medium heat on our stove, and we're going to watch it cook down. So you can see we have our strawberries over medium heat, and the sugar's just starting to melt down. So what I'm going to do is add a couple tablespoons of water, and that's going to help everything break down better. And then once the fruit starts to soften, we will puree this with a handheld blender. So our strawberries have been cooking for about 3 minutes on medium heat, and you can see all the juice is starting to release from the strawberries. And what you're looking for here is for them to start to go translucent, which means they lose some of that opaqueness. We don't want to cook them too long because we don't want to lose that fresh strawberry flavor. We don't want a jam flavor, otherwise we'd be using jam. What we want is to just concentrate all of that juiciness, and we're going to let it reduce just a little bit. All right, so our strawberries have started to cook down. You can see just by volume that they're less, and they've released a lot of juice. So we're going to let that cook about 2 more minutes. We don't want it really syrupy. 2 more minutes, and then we are going to puree it and strain it. All right, we turned the heat off on the strawberries, and you can see there's some gentle bubbles happening now. So what I'm going to do is to take my immersion blender, which is a not stand mixer, hand blender, okay? Which means you can put it right in liquids to help puree them. You don't have to put them in an actual blender, which is nice with hot things, because when you try to blend hot things, sometimes it can explode. So with an immersion blender, you need to be careful also of splattering. So just pulse whatever it is that you're pureeing gently. One thing I wanted to note here also is that I used a relatively large pot for the quantity of what I am cooking, and that's because I wanted to reduce it quickly. If you have it in a small pot, it's going to take longer for you to get all of that moisture out. It's not going to reduce as fast. So larger surface area is going to give you faster evaporation of liquid. So this is as smooth as I'm going to get it for right now doing this one-handed. I'm going to tilt the pot in a second and finish pureeing it, and then I'm going to pass it through a fine mesh sieve to get all the seeds out. And then I'm going to cool it down, and we'll add this to our Swiss meringue buttercream later. Alright, so I have set up here a fine mesh sieve over a largish bowl, and I have my strawberry puree. I'm going to grab a rubber spatula, because this is going to help us press the juice and the puree through our fine mesh sieve. It's also going to help us get all of that stuff off the bottom as well, because we don't want to lose any strawberry goodness after all this work. Scrape it all into there. You see nothing's burned on the bottom because we used a low heat and we stirred it pretty frequently. But if you do it on too high a heat, you do risk the chance of burning and scorching it or caramelizing some of the sugar, which is going to give you a richer, darker flavor. And that's not, I mean, you could do that certainly if that's what you're looking for, but for us right now, we're looking for a fresh strawberry flavor. So we don't really want any caramelized flavors in there. So we're just going to sieve all this out to get the seeds out, because you don't really want seeds in your strawberry buttercream. This is going to give it a faint pink tone, as you would expect. You could do the same thing with raspberries here, or any berries. I've done this with blueberries, and you get a beautiful purple buttercream, very natural. I've done it with apricot, with, let's see, what else have I, with the apricots, I used dried apricots, and I stewed them, and then I pureed them. So here you can see there's a lot of pulp left, so I'm just going to keep pushing it all through until all that's left are really seeds. I'm okay with pulp being in there, that's a lot of flavor, but I don't want the seeds. So I'm just going to keep pushing this through until we get as much as we can out of here. And what you want to remember at the end is there's a lot hanging off the bottom of the sieve. So scrape off your spatula, and underneath there's a fair amount of strawberry puree. And this is a good way to make a sauce for dessert as well. You could just leave it here and use this with a chocolate cake would be nice, like a molten chocolate cake. You could cook it down a little bit more to make it a little less watery, or add a cornstarch and cook it a little bit to thicken it. There we go. Strawberry puree. And we're going to use this. We're going to use this in Swiss meringue buttercream. We're going to let it cool in the fridge, but you could certainly use it for other things as well. But if you have strawberries that you need to use up, you can cook them like this and put them in the freezer and use them for smoothies. You could use them later for when you are maybe going to make buttercream. You could use it then. But that's it. Smells amazing. Smells like summer strawberries. It's amazing. That's it, guys. Tune back for the Swiss meringue buttercream tutorial. Bye.